Mary Catherine Ham joins us from Hot Air talking about the story out of Virginia. More guns sold, fewer crimes in the state. Mary Catherine, how can this be? The gun control advocates always tell us that more guns equals more crime.
I know, we always hear that, and yet I will applaud the Richmond Times-Dispatch for doing this pretty in-depth reporting. They went through all the background checks that the state has done, because Virginia doesn't register guns, but you can check to see how many background checks they've done, to see how sort of approximately how many have been purchased. So they did that over the past couple of years and found that, they're up these huge percentages, like 73% up, and yet violent crimes committed with guns down 25%, 30%. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, such that, the guy who conducted the research, who's a professor that specializes in this kind of thing, said, look, you can't say there's causation that necessarily more guns equals less crime.
Mm-hmm.
But what you can say is that there's no way to look at these numbers and believe what gun control advocates say, which is more guns create more gun crime. That is just impossible if you look at the numbers in Virginia.
Absolutely. And so the Richmond Times-Dispatch, I think WTOP also talked with Andrew Goddard, one of the gun control advocates of Virginia, who had a rather remarkable statement. He said, quote, "It's quite possible that you can sell a whole lot more guns and crime is still going down." Now, Mary Catherine,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a complete 180 from the dogma gun control position.
Right. I thought that was so interesting. It was sort of buried in the in the Times-Dispatch's story, but this is a gun control advocate, a lobbyist for gun control, who is using the exact same argument as the other side. It's bizarre because the numbers offer him no other way out. But normally people sort of just stay in denial and keep repeating their old talking points. When they're confronted with stuff like this, he just decided to appropriate the other side, I guess, because he really does. He makes the argument in several different ways that, look, well, of course you can sell a bunch of guns to people who are legal gun buyers, because legal gun buyers don't actually commit that many crimes. Yes, this is what we've been saying.
Exactly. And then yet he'll turn around and say, and that's why we need more laws, Mary Catherine, that target the legal law-abiding gun owners.
Right. It's completely nonsensical.
I mean, we've got them halfway there. Now we just have to get them to understand, okay, now you understand it's not the law-abiding, it's the criminals. Now we just need to figure out a way to, hey, how about we just enforce the laws that are on the books? Can we try that?
Right. Well, and I wonder, too, this is one of these things where I think, and this is why on gun laws, gun rights advocates have been so successful, is because if you live, people see this in their communities and they understand, hey, things aren't getting worse. And yet in Chicago and Washington, D.C., where there are no guns, quote unquote, society doesn't look like it's thriving when it comes to gun crimes and that kind of thing. So they see how this plays out and they understand that this is not threatening. And I wonder if we've actually created converts who are maybe liberals on a bunch of other issues, but in Northern Virginia, the sales were huge in 2011. Central Virginia sold something like 82,000 guns in 2011, which makes sense, a little more rural, but and a little bit more conservative politically. But Northern Virginia sold something like 79,000 guns, and obviously per capita that's less.
Right.
A lot of population up here, but I do wonder if there are some of these new women shooters and stuff that we hear so much about, and that demographic shift among gun owners.
Yeah, listen,
there's some liberal women up here.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, we talk all the time on this program. The Second Amendment, look, none of our rights are conservative. They're for all of us, no matter where we are on the political spectrum. So, the fact that we do have, I think, a huge cross-section of Americans who are embracing their right to keep and bear arms. And we're seeing, foodies get interested in hunting, and we're seeing, more and more women take up shooting. I think it's fantastic. And again, I think it benefits all of us because, the broader the coalition you have protecting your constitutional rights, frankly, the easier it is to get the politicians to fall in line.
Yeah, and it's nice to see people look around and go, hey, more freedom can make things better instead of worse.
Exactly. Well, I mean, where would you rather raise your family right now, in Virginia or in Chicago?
Exactly.
Mary Catherine Ham joins from Hot Air. Thank you so much for coming on the program tonight. Let's talk again soon.
Appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
You too.